Today is the International Day of Action for Elephants and Zoos, sponsored by In Defense of Animals. And we're uniting today with concerned citizens from around the world in 30 different cities to educate people about the plight of elephants and zoos.
It's wrong to keep elephants in zoos, and this pachyderm forest, which I call pack of lies for us, is going to be terrible for elephants.
The $42 million elephant exhibit being built by the City of Los Angeles and the LA Zoo still will not provide the space that elephants need, and they will continue to suffer and die prematurely in the new exhibit the same way they did in the old exhibit. What you're seeing here, all these black and white signs, these are the names of elephants who have all died here at Los Angeles Zoo throughout the years. And they died due to various reasons, and we're going to talk about a few of those. The first is Tara, who died in 2004. She had suffered for years from arthritis and from foot disease. Tara actually was found collapsed in her exhibit when the keepers came in the morning and died a short time later. In Defense of Animals actually filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Agriculture because Tara should have been monitored overnight. She was not. Therefore, no one knows how long she was laying there and suffering until her death. Tara had actually twice before been found collapsed on the ground by keepers. One time they had to call in the fire department to lift her back up again because they didn't have the necessary tools here to do it. The reason that's given in the veterinary records for Tara not being able to get up again is her severe arthritis. And so again, I mean, Tara's death was likely preventable, and she certainly suffered until her death. Geeta died here in 2006. She's another elephant who suffered literally for decades from foot disease and arthritis. In fact, she underwent surgery to remove 2/3 of one of her toes because the bone had dissolved. Her feet were so badly infected that the bone just eroded. And she did not live too much longer after that surgery. She finally collapsed overnight. In fact, it was quite controversial. She collapsed overnight, and she was seen on the ground by zoo security. It was reported to the night keeper, who did not take action, who did not call in veterinarians, did not call anyone in the zoo administration. So Geeta lay there for 12 to 17 hours suffering before she was finally discovered in the morning. Veterinarians were brought in. She received some treatment, but she died, and she died miserably. The next elephant that you see here is Sage, who died in 1984. Joyce won in 1979. Hannibal in 1992. Hannibal is another controversial case where he was completely mistreated and he was over-sedated. And because of that, he collapsed and died. Let me see. We have Annie. Annie was another elephant who who was left to suffer in her exhibit until she died. We have Nojugo. McLean actually was knocked by another elephant, was knocked down, and I believe into a moat. And McLean suffered injuries that led to her being euthanized. Let me see. Chumai was a really sad story. Chumai died in 1984. He is also known as Albert, and he was an elephant that was used for rides here at Los Angeles Zoo. And Albert had gone after it, attacked one of the trainers. And what we believe, it's not in the zoo records, but the results of it are pretty obvious, that he underwent a severe beating. And he was left in a yard here at Los Angeles Zoo, suffering from his wounds. He was left out in the sun with no protection. Literally, the records claim that the skin was sloughing off of the top of his head. And he would lie there in a yard, and again, with no protection from the sun, and just was left to die miserably. And here we have Norma Sandler, Norma has been working for many, many years here on behalf of the elephants at Los Angeles Zoo. And actually it's because we know, partially because of Norma's work, that we have the information we do on all of the elephants who died here, whose names you see on the signs. So Norma, you want to say?
Yeah, there's more than what you have here. When I had a list, there were at least 24 elephants that people never even heard of, including some unnamed babies. I got involved when a zookeeper called me at 5 o'clock in the morning and told me Hannibal, this was in 1992, Hannibal had been drugged to where he could not get up, and consequently he died. They tried to make him stand, but he couldn't. He was blamed for his own death. The zoo said that he refused to get up. He killed himself, according to the zoo. Hannibal committed suicide. Now the latest one, Geeta, died 3 years ago. We're trying to get a report on why she died, and we're not getting this report. They are hiding information. Otherwise, they would have given it to us. It would be public access information. They're hiding it. 3 years later, we still don't have an official report. It's outrageous. More elephants will die at this zoo.
And what you mean there, it's the USDA final report in action against Los Angeles Zoo, because we certainly believe that Los Angeles Zoo should be sanctioned for their failures to treat Geeta promptly and to do their job here, and that the USDA should sanction Los Angeles Zoo. It's been more than 3 years now, and there still isn't even a final report of their investigation.
The USDA is impotent. Either that, or they're playing and getting payoffs or something in return for their not speaking up and not doing anything.
Capone. And for Samson, I do know Samson's story. Samson was another elephant who, again, was oversedated when they were going to transport him. In fact, they did get him into the truck, and I believe he collapsed in the truck, and they took off with him. And then I think a week or two later, there was a report that a dead elephant had washed up in Mexico, had washed up on a beach in Mexico. And the assumption is that it was Samson. So another horrific story from Los Angeles Zoo. Modoc. Again, there were a couple named, male African calf, 1982. There were a couple of calves that were brought here to the zoo at extremely young ages, when they certainly should not have been away from their mothers. Elephants will remain with their mothers, with the females for life, and the male elephants don't leave the herd until about 14 years of age. Yet you had babies here at Los Angeles Zoo that were maybe 1 and 2 years old without their mothers.
What kind of suffering the elephants have to go through here? I mean, there's an unnamed 7-month-old calf that died here, and that's not right. They should live up to 60 years old, and it's just 7 months, and that's sad.
I'm here to try to set Billy free because it's wrong for elephants to be stuck in these tiny spaces. It's like being stuck in your room forever, and that's not fun at all.
Humans, in order to evolve and not kill ourselves and everything in the environment, the best way to live your life is through compassion, and to feel for other animals and to feel for all the other creatures on the earth. And starting with elephants is a good way. I mean, because they're cognizant, and they're social animals, and they care about each other, and they're a good role model for us.
His name is Billy. He's confined in a zoo with nothing to do but bob and sway through every troubled day until he falls asleep, and that is why elephants weep.
Free Billy!